How's it going, everyone? I'm JoeWatermelon, and today I'm going to be helping you guys get one step closer to your next combat achievement tier. In this video, I'll be showing and explaining 5 of the easiest Grandmaster Combat Achievements. Now, before looking at these, I'd suggest looking at any kill count tasks that you might be close to, because of course, those are usually going to be the easiest skill-wise to complete. The downside to kill count tasks is if you're not close to completing them, they can take the longest and also be pretty damn boring. The good news is that I've found the 5 easiest non-kill count Grandmaster CAs for you guys. I base these not only off of completion percentage, which can be found on the wiki, but also personal experience. So let's get started. At number 1, we have Egnoil Diet II in the Corrupted Gauntlet. This task was already pretty easy, but with a recent addition to the game, it became even easier. The task requires you to complete a Corrupted Gauntlet without making any Egnoil potions, which are a stamina and prayer potion hybrid. The new item to the game that makes this task incredibly easy is the prayer regeneration potion. Now for mains, this is a simple trip to the Grand Exchange to buy a couple, but for irons, it's a little more of a process to obtain. Like I said before though, even without the potion, it's a pretty easy task. Without the potion, you're probably just going to want to make tier 2 or tier 3 armor for the higher prayer bonus and flick prayers where you can. In this run, however, I'll be showing you how to complete this task with the prayer potion and with no flicking necessary. To get started, all you need to do is sip the regen pot before entering, and for the next 8 minutes, you'll restore 1 prayer point every 7 seconds. Other than that, all you'll need to do is a very standard tier 1 armor prep with 2 perfected weapons, max out your food, and kill the boss without any offensive prayers while camping overheads. And again, if you're comfortable with prayer flicking, you can make this even quicker by flicking some offensive prayers as well. For now, I'll only show the important parts of each task, but at the end of the video, I'll include a full, unedited video of each combat achievement being completed. As you can see, even with tier 1 armor and camping overhead prayers, I still ended this run with over 60 prayer points, thanks to the prayer regen pot. Now that you've completed Egnoil Diet, we'll move on to task number 2, which also happens to be in the Corrupted Gauntlet, Wolf Puncher 2. Now, just like most of these tasks, there are faster but harder methods of completing them, or the easy way that I'll be showing here. This task requires you to complete the Corrupted Gauntlet without making more than 1 attuned weapon. The intended and faster way of completing this is to use a method called 5 to 1, where you do 5 hits with your perfected weapon, and then 1 hit with either of the 2 other styles to get Hunlif's overhead to change, as shown here. If you're like me, however, you probably hate counting for an entire kill, which is why I'll show you guys an even easier way. This way is quite a bit slower, but very simple. All you do is use your basic weapon just like you'd use it if it were perfected. So for my example, I did 6 hits with my perfected staff, followed by 6 hits with my basic bow, and so on. Tier 2 or Tier 3 armor can definitely help eliminate any RNG, but as you can see from my example, Tier 1 is just fine as well. And again, if you want to watch an entire video of the combat achievements without any cuts or skips, I'll include each one at the end of the video. Now that you've completed Wolf Puncher 2, we'll move on to task number 3, swimming in Venom at Araxxor. In my opinion, the hardest part about this task is that it requires 92 Slayer, because mechanically it's really very easy. This task requires you to kill Araxxor without moving the boss at all. To start, you'll attack the boss without moving back any tiles, and while using a ranged weapon like the ballista to kill the green and gray crabs. Do your best to save space when Araxxor does the Venom attacks, and eventually you'll make it to Enrage phase. Once in Enrage, there are 2 ways to do it. The slightly harder but much faster method is to step 2 tiles under Araxxor every time you see a new acid pool appear, and then immediately click back on Araxxor to attack, as seen here. This method not only gets Araxxor to damage itself, but also saves space in regards to the acid pools. The slower but much easier method is to just move around the boss either clockwise or counterclockwise every time the new acid pools appear, as seen here. And even with much worse gear than mine, you really should have no problems running out of space on most of your runs. And again, I'll include this combat achievement being completed in every Araxxor phase at the end of this video. Now for our last 2 combat achievements, we'll be heading over to Vorkath. The first one, and number 4, is Faithless Encounter. This combat achievement requires you to kill Vorkath without losing any prayer points. And just like Egnoil Diet, you'll speed it up by prayer flicking, or you can sit back and tank some damage. Because I'm trying to show the easier ways of doing these, I don't pray at all, and still finish with plenty of supplies left over. If you're planning on prayer flicking, you can wear Void, but if you're planning on tanking, I'd wear some higher defense armor like Missouri. I also chose to do this task with ranged gear, but it's completely doable with melee as well. Only big things you need to remember are your salve, anti-dragon pot, and anti-dragon shield. The biggest thing for this one, in my opinion, is to try and eat efficiently by either doing it in between hits or phases. Aside from that, just stay above Vorkath's regular max hit of 32, and be careful in the acid phase, and you should have no trouble completing this one. I'll leave the full video of this combat achievement at the end. Now for our final combat achievement, at number 5, we have the Fremennik Way. This task requires you to defeat Vorkath using only your fists, although defenders are allowed and should be brought. If you can kill Vorkath, you can most likely do this CA. The difficult part doesn't come from the mechanics, but more so from the fact that it's a very long endurance test. Even with max gear, you can still have some pretty slow kills, but with that being said, I was consistently finishing with about half of my supplies left, so it's very possible for people with less gear or skill to complete this one. To get started, just wear all of your best melee strength gear. Crush is also okay, and defense is somewhat important, so if you're having trouble staying alive, you can substitute in some higher defense gear. Depending on if your mage attack bonus is below -64 or not, you might need to bring in a mage item to switch to when attacking the zombified spawn. I brought in Tormented Bracelet for this purpose. You can also bring an extra food item to Vorkath if you first teleport to Relica, drop the food item, grab more from a bank, and then pick the item up in place of your Relica teleport, like I did there. This inventory seemed to work out perfectly every time for me, but if you're having trouble, you can tweak yours as needed. This new extended anti-venom means that you only have to bring 1, whereas before it was 2. The biggest tip I have for this combat achievement is to try at all costs to avoid stepping in any acid, as it will heal Vorkath, which adds up very quickly. Other than that, just make sure you won't be disturbed for 10 to 15 minutes, and have fun killing a boss the old-fashioned way. Well, that about sums it up for the 5 easiest Grandmaster Combat Achievements. Don't forget that after this outro, I'll show each combat achievement in its entirety, and they'll each be timestamped and labeled. And as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and follow me over on Twitch where I stream endgame Ironman content daily. Take it easy, everyone, and I'll see you next time.